Okay, people. So Richard Linklater is one of my favorite directors, right? Whenever he's got a new joint, I'm definitely making a priority to check that out. And if you have been following this podcast for all these years, you know that the Before trilogy is a benchmark on just outstanding storytelling. You know what I mean? So I was really excited to check out Hitman, right? Which is Linklater's new film, which he directs and co-writes with star Glen Powell. Okay, the film is then produced by Linklater, Powell, along with Michael Costigan, Mike Blizzard, Jason Bateman, executive produced by Steve Barnett, Scott Brown, Megan Credit, Zach Garrett, Julie Goldstein, Alan Powell, Shivani Rawat, and John Sloss. It is co-produced by Connor Flanagan, and it is line produced by Jenny Wyland. Graham Reynolds handles the music. Cinematography is Shane F. Kelly. Sandra Adair edits the piece, while Vicky Boone is on casting duties. Production design is from Bruce Curtis. Rodney Becker, art decoration. Set decoration is Marcus Whitman. Costume design is Juliana Hofpoir. And our cast. Well, Glen Powell is Gary Johnson. We got Adria Arjona as Maddie Masters. Right? We've got Retta as a police officer that Gary works with, along with Sanjay Rao. He's also a police officer. And Austin Emilio is Jasper, another officer who Gary is kind of subbing for, essentially, you know. Evan Holtzman is Ray Masters, Maddie's husband. We've also got Mike Markov as Craig. Joanne Robinson is a society lady. Richie Montgomery is Marcus. Morgana Shaw is Tammy. Julia Holt is one of Gary's students. Natalie J. Alarcon is Dinah Patron. Kate Adair is Rita. Richard Rubikiaks is Joe. Anthony Michael Frederick is Foreman. Jordan Salom is one of Raymaster's friends. Bryant Carroll is Walt. Kim Baptiste is a defense attorney. Stephanie Hong is Mindy. Graylin Bryant Banks is the police sergeant Hank. Jonas Learway is Mont. Eleanor T. Fret is a teacher. Yeah, that's probably it. I mean, probably gone through most of the peoples. Now, the gist of the story is this: Gary Johnson is the most sought after professional killer in New Orleans. To his clients, he is like something out of a movie. The mysterious gun for hire. But if you pay him to rub out a cheating spouse or an abusive boss, you better watch your back, because he works for the cops. When he breaks protocol to help a desperate woman trying to flee an abusive husband, he finds himself becoming one of his false personas, falling for the woman and flirting with turning into a criminal himself. So, yes, there you go. Now, this is actually based on a true story, right? Kind of. So the Skip Hollandsworth wrote an article in 2001 for the Texas Monthly, right? And it was about this guy, Gary Johnson, who works for the police. And it's it's a crazy story, right? Because there's this one person who pretends to be a hitman, but his name's out there. Like in the article, they give his name, the fact that he's a teacher. You know, and it's just like, yeah, what the seemed crazy. Seemed crazy. And he goes into court and testifies. So you're just like, how can he keep doing this thing and no one know? Is it like, if you didn't know this was actually based on truth, you'd go, that's rubbish. That could never go down. But no, it did. And so we get this film, right? And this film is tremendous, people. Oh my gosh, it is so goddamn good. If you are a fan of Linklater, you are going to be so damn happy. Oh, people, you're going to be so damn happy. Trust me. So we start off and we see him teaching, right? He's in front of the class and he's trying to make them teacher jokes, you know what I mean? Spouting, um, oh gosh, Nietzsche, right? He's Socrates, Carl Jung, right? He's very into the philosophy of human nature, and he's like, he references all of this stuff when he's teaching, right? So we see him in class, then he goes home. There was a lot of visual jokes which I couldn't see, like when people seem to see the name of his cats, they were on the food bowls. Everyone was laughing. I don't know. I couldn't see what it said, but there was a few things like that. So throughout, there were, there were laughs, and the visual ones I missed, but just the writing is so sharp. The writing is so sharp, and there's a lot of things that will just have you chuckling your ass off, man, for real. But like a lot of the film is kind of narrated by Gary. So we see him teaching, doing his thing at home. And then in those sequences, he's kind of telling us about him, right? And he's like, oh, to, supplement his money, he also works for the police force, right? So he does tech, but situation goes down and he has been asked to pretend to be the hitman this time out. And he's never done anything like that before. So he's concerned, obviously, right? And I think the way everyone knows him, right? Everyone knows him on the force. They think he's fine, right? But they just think he's unassuming. So when he goes on this undercover sting, oh, we see a new side of Gary. We see a new side of Gary, which shocks him and shocks everyone else. And I think the fun thing about this, people, right? When we have him go undercover, right? It really feels like we've got someone else, right? It's not Glen Powell. It's someone completely different, which is so freaking fun. And like the first time he does it, right? It's good. But the more he does it, the more comfortable. And Powell does a magnificent job of portraying this, right? Showing him get more and more comfortable with playing the part and then just doing more, right? The different costumes, acts, it is, oh man, like if we just saw that aspect of the film, if it was just about that, right? I think you could have done a short with Powell just putting on those voices. It was great. I hope that when this drops, or on DVD, Blu-ray, even the digital version, I hope they've got bonus features and there's just more of that because it is so freaking fun. It is so fun, man. And that brought out so many laughs. Trust. That brought out so many laughs. It really did. So we have this, but then he's also, one of there's the people called, like the police find out basically about people wanting to hit someone, right? Wanting to take out a spouse, wanting to take out a friend, a business partner, all of these things. So it gets back to the police, and that's when they call Gary in. Right? So one of these people is Madison, right? Madison gets the she's unhappy with her husband because he's a piece of shit, right? So it's just, what can she do? So we see that aspect of it, and Adria Arjona is fantastic. She is so frigging good, you know? And like, look, we know she can act her ass off, right? We have seen her with some really good performances. I mean, even in films that I just didn't think were great, like Triple Frontier and Six Underground, she's great in those films. She's really good in Morbius, and Morbius is whack, right? So we know she can do a thing, right? So in this, you are not disappointed, but she kills it. She really does. It's fantastic. Like everyone kills it. Sanjay Rail, Retta, you know, Evan Holtzman, who plays Maddie's husband, Ray. That, like, the performances are really good, especially when we're doing this whole emotional shifts, right? With the flip, someone's angry and sad, and we get all of this, right? And it's just masterful, right? The script is so good. Right? There's just some of the lines, right? There's a bit, and he's in a diner, and someone's like, "Is the pie good?" He's like, "All pie's good," and it's just the delivery, and it's so funny, right? It might not sound funny with me, just boom, but trust me, people, when it's dropped in, it's so funny. And there's another bit where he's talking to someone, right, about a hit, and he's like, "There's three things you need to kill someone: the gun, the bullets, and the balls to pull the trigger." Hee ha! Oh my gosh. Oh man. I love this film. I love this film. There's The humor does not detract from the serious moments. And the other interesting thing is, right, it's this crazy tale. And you've got the guy, going undercover and all of this, but you've also got philosophy intertwined throughout, right? So as a teacher, as I said, he's a big fan of Nietzsche and Carl Jung and just all of them's, right? But he's giving, their philosophies to the students. So we get like these scenes where we're cutting from the police staff to him teaching, and he's giving these lessons to the students. And so we get this philosophy even in the police station. There's times and things are talked about, and it's just like, the whole fact of human nature and what people do and all of this. And it is, it's fascinating seeing that juxtaposition to the actions of these people as well, so it does make you think, right? Does make you think. But yeah, this is it's so good. It is so good, right? It is just under 2 hours. Just under 2 hours, people. And I will say, didn't notice a time at all. Did not notice a time, right? So this has actually been picked up by Netflix, you know? So if you do not have the opportunity to see it again at the festival, right? So, it played at the South Bank Centre today, the Royal Festival Hall, which is, I mean, it's a fantastic venue, right? It's a fantastic venue. So if you unfortunately missed that, right, the 11th, Wednesday, the 11th, at 3:15, it is playing an NFT1 at the BFI South Bank, right? So that's your next opportunity. But if you cannot get a ticket for that, as mentioned, it's coming to Netflix. So people, add when it shows up in the coming soon section, add it to your wish list, your watch list even, because you do not want to miss this film, right? Linklater at his best. Everyone involved, Glen Powell, Adria Arjona, Austin Amelio, Retta, everyone. They absolutely kill it. The music is great, right? The camera work, fantastic cinematography, right? Fantastic, costumes, lighting, everything, every little aspect of this film comes together and creates this magnificent piece of work. So people, I highly recommend it. Check out Hitman.